The Nintendo Switch 2 is packed with incredible fighting games, and these 25 titles are the ones you absolutely cannot miss in 2026. Kicking off the list with one of the most anticipated releases on the platform, Street Fighter VI lands on Nintendo Switch 2 as the only Nintendo console where it is playable, and it delivers in every way. The roster spans from iconic World Warriors to fresh newcomers, each with a distinct and satisfying playstyle. The drive system mechanic adds real depth to every match, giving players a powerful tool to attack, defend, or extend combos at the right moment. The World Tour mood offers a meaty single-player experience, while Battle Hub keeps the competitive scene alive and thriving. On Switch 2, the game runs at a locked 60 frames per second with sharp visuals, and it has even been confirmed for use in the Capcom Pro Tour. Whether you are a veteran or a complete newcomer, Street Fighter VI is the undisputed starting point for any fighting game fan on this console. Coming in at number 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate remains one of the most complete fighting games ever made, and it plays beautifully on the Nintendo Switch 2. With a roster of 89 fighters pulling from Nintendo, Capcom, Konami, Sega, Bandai Namco, and many more studios, every character feels distinct and fully fleshed out. The game features over 100 stages, a massive music library, and a wealth of single-player modes, including World of Light. On Switch 2, load times are noticeably faster, making multiplayer sessions feel snappier and more responsive overall. Whether you prefer casual party play or intense competitive bracket matches, Smash Ultimate delivers on both ends without compromise. It remains a must-own title for any Switch household, and the platform fighter's standard that all others are measured against in 2026. Number 3 brings us to Guilty Gear Strive, an anime fighter that set a new visual and mechanical benchmark when it launched and continues to impress on Switch 2. Developed by Arc System Works, Strive trades complexity for accessibility without losing the depth that veteran players demand. The combo system rewards aggression and creativity, while the wall break mechanic keeps every round feeling dynamic and high stakes. Visually, the cel-shaded art style looks like a playable anime at 60 frames per second, and the heavy rock soundtrack makes every fight feel cinematic. The online experience on Switch 2 is notably strong, thanks to the console's improved networking, and crossplay is supported, meaning the player pool is consistently healthy. For anyone looking for a technically rich and visually stunning fighter, Guilty Gear Strive is essential. At number 4, Dragon Ball FighterZ proves that a licensed anime fighter can stand toe-to-toe with the best in the genre. The tag-based 3 vs 3 format captures the explosive energy of the Dragon Ball series perfectly, with dramatic beam clashes, dramatic super moves, and flashy comeback mechanics built into every match. The roster covers the full span of the franchise and continues to grow with new additions from Dragon Ball Daima. A major balance update in October 2025 introduced the Z Reflect mechanic, which added a fresh layer of defensive counterplay to an already deep system. On Switch 2, the game benefits from faster load times and a more stable online experience than on the original Switch hardware. It remains one of the most visually faithful adaptations of the series and one of the most entertaining tag fighters available on the platform. Landing at number 5, Mortal Kombat 1 brings the classic franchise into a brand new era with a rebooted timeline, redesigned characters, and a refined combat system that feels tighter and more deliberate than its predecessors. The game introduces the Cameo Fighter system, allowing players to call in assist characters during matches for extended combos and mix-up opportunities. The story mode is cinematic and well-produced, making it accessible even for those who have not followed the series for years. Visually, it runs impressively on Switch 2, delivering detail and fluidity that the original Switch simply could not achieve for this franchise. The roster is packed with both legacy fighters and fresh faces, and the ongoing DLC support continues to bring new characters into the fold regularly. For fans of grounded, brutal fighting games, Mortal Kombat 1 is one of the strongest entries available on Switch 2. Number 6 goes to Tekken 8, one of the most technically accomplished 3D fighters in years, and a strong addition to the Switch 2 library. The heat system introduced in this installment transforms the rhythm of each round, rewarding aggressive play while giving characters powerful burst options that shift the momentum dramatically. Every fighter in the roster is well-defined, with deep move lists and satisfying character-specific mechanics that reward dedicated learning. The Arcade Quest mode eases newcomers into the experience without overwhelming them, while the ranked online modes offer a structured path for serious players. On Switch 2, the game holds up visually and mechanically, delivering the experience Tekken 8 is known for in a portable format without significant compromise. It is a heavyweight entry that belongs in any fighting game fan's library on this console. At number 7, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero reignites the beloved Budokai Tenkaichi series after nearly 2 decades and delivers one of the most content-rich Dragon Ball games ever made. The arena-based 3D combat gives players full freedom of movement, enabling the kind of high-speed aerial battles that the series is famous for. The roster is enormous, featuring hundreds of characters spanning every major arc and saga of the Dragon Ball universe, including transformations as separate selectable forms. The story mode recreates iconic moments from the anime with impressive fidelity, while the custom battle creator allows players to set up their own scenarios and share them online. On Switch 2, the game runs at a smooth frame rate with sharp presentation, making the visuals pop during special attacks and super moves. For Dragon Ball fans, this is a landmark release that lived up to years of anticipation. Number 8 belongs to the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, a package that brings together some of the most beloved crossover fighting games ever made into a single, well-presented release. Titles included span from classic entries like X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes, all the way to the fan-favorite Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which continues to hold legendary status in the fighting game community. Each game has been enhanced with rollback netcode for online play, training modes, and a robust gallery of concept art and design documents. The ability to take Marvel vs. Capcom 2 online on a Nintendo console is a remarkable achievement and alone justifies the purchase for longtime fans. On Switch 2, the collection runs cleanly, and the online lobbies are active with players looking to revisit these classics. It is a celebration of a golden era in arcade fighting game history. Coming in at number 9, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is a massive improvement over its predecessor, and one of the most polished platform fighters available outside of Smash Ultimate. The roster pulls from decades of beloved Nickelodeon cartoons, bringing characters like Ren and Stimpy, Korra, Rocksteady, and Garfield into a surprisingly deep and competitively viable fighting system. The addition of a full story mode with a clear narrative and boss encounters gives the game more single-player substance than most platform fighters offer. Mechanically, the slime meter system adds a satisfying risk-reward layer to neutral play and combo extension. The game is accessible enough for casual family sessions, but has enough technical depth to keep competitive players engaged in the long run. It stands as a genuinely strong platform fighter that respects the source material while delivering quality gameplay. At number 10, Pokkén Tournament DX brings the Pokémon franchise into the fighting game space with a hybrid system that blends traditional 2D mechanics with open arena-style 3D movement. The unique phase system, which shifts between field phase and dual phase mid-match, creates a rhythm unlike any other fighter on the platform and rewards players who master both modes. The roster may not be massive, but every Pokémon represented feels distinct, with no two characters sharing the same fundamental approach to combat. The skill ceiling is notably high, making it a rewarding long-term study for players who enjoy deep character exploration. Online play remains surprisingly active even in 2026, with a dedicated community keeping ranked and casual queues alive. As the only Pokémon fighting game available, Pokkén Tournament DX occupies a unique and well-earned spot on this list. Number 11 brings Soulcalibur VI into the conversation as one of the finest weapons-based fighters ever made, now accessible on Switch 2 through backward compatibility. The game's reversal edge system adds a layered rock-paper-scissors dynamic that creates dramatic moments and gives newer players a fighting chance in high-pressure situations. The roster covers most of the franchise's iconic warriors, alongside guest characters like Geralt from The Witcher, each brought to life with fluid animation and detailed character design. The single-player offerings are generous, including 2 separate story mode paths that explore the lore from different perspectives. Soulcalibur VI rewards patience and reads more than raw execution speed, making it an interesting contrast to the faster-paced titles on this list. For fans of the weapons fighter subgenre, it remains an outstanding and largely unique option. At number 12, ARMS is Nintendo's own take on the fighting game genre, and one of the most creative first-party titles in the platform's library. The game's extendable arm mechanic creates a distinctive combat rhythm built around spacing, prediction, and timing, rather than traditional combo execution. Each of the playable fighters has a unique body type, movement speed, and set of interchangeable arms that dramatically shifts how they approach a match. The game shines most in local multiplayer, where reading your opponent's movements becomes the entire game in the most satisfying way. Arms is often slept on as a fighter, but its depth becomes apparent once you start understanding the spacing game at a competitive level. On Switch 2, it benefits from smoother performance and remains one of the most original fighting games Nintendo has ever produced. Number 13 goes to BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, one of the wildest crossover concepts in fighting game history that somehow works exceptionally well in practice. The game pulls fighters from BlazBlue, Persona 4 Arena, Under Night In-Birth, Arcana Heart, Senran Kagura, Rooster Teeth's RWBY, and more into a 2 vs 2 tag format that is constantly chaotic and entertaining. Mechanically, the system is designed to be more approachable than most of Arc System Works' catalog, using auto-combos and simplified inputs to welcome newcomers, without removing the ceiling for technical play. The tag mechanics offer enormous depth once you start exploring team synergies and shared combo routes between characters from different franchises. The sheer variety in the roster ensures that nearly every type of anime fan will find a character to connect with. It is a celebration of Arc System Works history, wrapped in a genuinely enjoyable fighting game. At number 14, Under Night In-Birth 2 delivers one of the most mechanically refined 2D fighters available on any platform, and it plays beautifully on Nintendo Switch 2. Developed by French Bread, the game expands on its predecessor with a deeper roster, refined systems, and improved netcode that makes online play a consistently smooth experience. The GRD gauge system, which rewards aggressive play and punishes passive turtling, gives matches a constant sense of momentum and urgency. Each character in the roster operates on a fundamentally different set of rules, making the learning curve steeper but the payoff significantly more rewarding for dedicated players. The visual presentation is clean and stylish, and the soundtrack fits the game's dark urban fantasy aesthetic perfectly. It is a must-play for anyone who considers themselves a serious student of the 2D fighting game genre. Number 15 belongs to Skullgirls Second Encore, one of the most beloved indie fighting games ever made, and a title with an incredibly devoted community that keeps the competitive scene alive years after its original release. The game was built from the ground up by a team of passionate fighting game players, and that expertise shows in every system and mechanic. The tag-based format allows 1, 2, or 3 character teams, with balanced scaling to ensure fairness across all configurations. Each character has a fully animated, hand-drawn look that is expressive and distinctive, setting a visual standard that few indie games have matched. The online experience is supported by rollback netcode, and regular tournaments continue to draw competitive players across platforms thanks to crossplay functionality. Skullgirls Second Encore is a gem that rewards every hour you invest in learning it. At number 16, Samurai Shodown brings SNK's legendary weapon-based fighting series back in a form that honors its legacy while feeling completely current. The game adopts a slower, more deliberate pace compared to most modern fighters, placing enormous weight on single hits and punishing reckless aggression with heavy damage. This creates a tension-filled dynamic where every movement and attack decision carries real consequence, giving even casual matches a cinematic intensity. The rage mechanic builds throughout each round, offering a powerful offensive option or the ability to spend it all on a lightless saber instant kill attack that adds dramatic high-stakes moments to close fights. The roster draws from the full history of the series, with a handful of new additions, each fitting the game's historical Japanese setting and aesthetic perfectly. It is an essential pick for players who prefer methodical, high-risk fighting games. Number 17 goes to The King of Fighters X15. SNK's flagship team-based fighting series at its most refined and accessible. The 3 vs 3 team format is the heart of the experience, requiring players to build a balanced squad and manage the flow of the fight across all 3 characters strategically. The Max Mode and Shatter Strike mechanics add burst options and anti-pressure tools that shift the momentum of matches in satisfying ways. The roster is enormous, covering decades of KOF history, with returning favorites and a handful of new characters who fit naturally into the game's established world. Online play is supported by rollback netcode and remains active, with a dedicated community that spans regions and platforms. For fans of team-based or SNK fighters, KOF X15 is the clearest expression of what the series has always done best. At number 18, Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising takes the beloved mobile RPG franchise into a 2D fighting game format with remarkable results. Developed by Arc System Works, the game features a streamlined control scheme that makes executing powerful moves accessible without removing the depth that advanced players seek. The unique Skybound Art Super System, which taps into the RPG's roster of summons and abilities, gives the game a flavor entirely distinct from other Arc titles. The roster covers a strong selection of characters from the Granblue Fantasy universe, and ongoing updates continue to expand it with new fighters from the game's expansive lore. The story mode is produced at an impressive level of quality, feeling closer to an animated feature than a typical fighting game narrative offering. It is a sleek, polished package that works well for both fans of the source material and pure fighting game enthusiasts. Number 19 features Brawlhalla, the free-to-play platform fighter from Blue Mammoth Games that has maintained an impressively active community since its release. The game's simple control scheme and lightweight mechanics make it one of the most approachable entries on this entire list, requiring no purchase to begin playing. Cross-platform play means the online population is always healthy, with players from Switch, PC, and other consoles all sharing the same matchmaking pool. The roster is substantial and continues to grow through both original characters and licensed collaborations from franchises like Street Fighter, WWE, and Adventure Time. The Legend currency system allows players to unlock characters through regular play without spending money, making the full experience genuinely accessible free of charge. Brawlhalla is an easy recommendation for anyone looking to jump into a platform fighter without any barrier to entry. At number 20, Fantasy Strike takes a philosophy entirely opposite to most fighters on this list, stripping the genre down to its absolute fundamentals without sacrificing genuine strategic depth. Every character is controlled with simple directional inputs and a single attack button, yet the game demands strong reads, spacing awareness, and mental game from anyone hoping to win consistently online. The roster is small but carefully designed, with each character teaching a different core fighting game concept through their playstyle. The free-to-play model allows anyone to try all characters online without spending anything, and the paid version unlocks offline modes and training tools. Despite its accessible exterior, Fantasy Strike maintains a respectable competitive community that has been consistently active for years. It is the perfect entry point for anyone who wants to understand fighting game fundamentals without wading through complex execution requirements. Number 21 brings Them's Fighting Herds onto the list, a community-funded indie fighter featuring a cast of cartoon ungulate characters that hides a deeply serious competitive fighting game underneath its charming appearance. Designed with input from Lauren Faust and built on a custom engine featuring rollback netcode from the ground up, the game was created with genuine competitive integrity in mind. Each character represents a distinct region in the game's world and plays according to a unique mechanical identity that rewards specialization and study. The pixel art presentation is clean and expressive, and the animation quality rivals or exceeds most games produced by studios many times larger. Story mode content has been added progressively over time, giving the game additional single-player depth beyond its strong core fighting modes. It is a genuine surprise for anyone who discovers it, offering far more than its unusual premise suggests. At number 22, Rivals of Aether 2 builds on the beloved legacy of its predecessor with an upgraded 3D art style and a refined platform fighter formula that feels both fresh and familiar to fans of the original. The roster retains the elemental identity system from the first game while introducing new mechanics and characters that expand the universe in meaningful directions. The movement system is fast and expressive, rewarding players who invest time in mastering wave dashing, ledge options, and edge guarding techniques. Online play features strong netcode that keeps the competitive experience responsive even in cross-region matchups, which is critical for a platform fighter at the highest levels of play. The development team has remained actively engaged with the community, delivering updates and balance patches that reflect genuine attention to the competitive player base. For fans of technical platform fighters looking for a strong alternative to Smash, Rivals 2 is a top recommendation. Number 23 goes to Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, a crossover tag fighter that pulls characters from across the entire Power Rangers multiverse into a clean and surprisingly deep combat system. The 3 vs 3 tag format is fast and fluid, with assist calls and team swap mechanics that create extensive combo and mix-up opportunities for players willing to put in the time to learn team compositions. Despite its licensed origins, the game was developed with clear competitive ambitions and has maintained a dedicated tournament community throughout its lifespan. The game continues to receive DLC characters that expand the roster across multiple generations of the franchise, giving longtime fans plenty of reason to return. The visual presentation is clean and colorful, capturing the high-energy aesthetic of the series well within the fighting game format. It is a licensed fighter that earns its place on merit, rather than simply on brand recognition. At number 24, Capcom Fighting Collection brings together 10 classic arcade fighters from Capcom's golden era into a single, well-curated package. The lineup includes Darkstalkers entries, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Red Earth, and Hyper Street Fighter 2, each running faithfully with modern enhancements like online play through rollback netcode and training modes. The museum content included in the collection is extensive, featuring concept art, design notes, and historical documentation that makes it valuable as a piece of gaming history beyond just the playable content. Online lobbies support up to 8 players in a spectator format that mirrors the arcade experience of gathering around a cabinet to watch and wait for your turn. Every game in the collection represents a specific chapter in the history of Capcom's dominance in the 2D fighting game space. For fans of fighting game history and arcade preservation, this is an outstanding package. Closing out the list at number 25, 2XKO marks Riot Games' entry into the fighting game genre, bringing fan-favorite League of Legends champions into a tag-based combat system that draws clear inspiration from Marvel vs. Capcom and Dragon Ball FighterZ. The roster includes characters like Ahri, Darius, Echo, and Jinx, each translated from their mobile roles into distinct fighting game archetypes with satisfying movesets. The tag system supports up to 4 players in team-based formats, creating a multiplayer experience that rewards coordination and team composition awareness. Riot has backed the game with its full production resources, resulting in a visual quality that matches the highest profile entries in the genre. The free-to-play model keeps the barrier to entry low, and Riot's network infrastructure ensures stable online play across all supported platforms. As a debut from a studio entering a new genre, 2XKO is a confident and exciting addition to the Switch 2 fighting game library.